All right. Okay. Look like we live. Yep, we're live. All right. Hey, y'all. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate y'all for joining me on this live stream that we're doing. Ken here in Dallas, Texas. Deontay way up in cold Columbus, Ohio. I know it ain't cold right now, but trust in about 3 months, 2 months is gonna be freezing. 2 months. Right. Yeah, September, freezing. And then I got my man Brian down here in Garland, Texas. So 3 of us in Texas. So there's one odd man out. Deontay, you might need to join us down here.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
I'll let y'all have that heat and humidity.
Yeah, you say that now. You can't plant a palm tree. When you plant a palm tree, your world changes.
I got palm trees in my yard right now. So you'll love it down here. You'll really love it in January.
Nah, it's good, man.
Yeah. So February was what? Last year was 80. Was wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
A lot of underwear, huh?
Yeah, shorts in January. But anyways, y'all, man, just to get started, man, thank whoever's watching this with us. Thank y'all very much. We appreciate it. But basically, listen, this past Tuesday, I dropped a video talking about, where do you stand? Because, we got a lot of stuff going on in society right now. And a lot of things that's pulling for our affection and pulling for our attention and things like that. And so with everything going on, I just really felt led to drop that video, and there's been a lot of conversation around it. And I just felt like, I felt led to get, 3 brothers on here to where we can kind of chop it up and just see where we fall together, whether we agree or disagree. I think it's going to be healthy and much needed dialogue for us to have, just see where we stand. So how it's going to work is, I know y'all probably seen the video, but I'm going to present the video, if I can talk, present the video to y'all, and then we'll just go through one by one, and we'll talk about, where do we stand. So, all right, hold on. Let me present the video. Okay.
Okay, well, let's see. 3 of them right off the bat. Those are going to be my top 3. So I'm going to just tackle sports teams, fraternities, and political party. Yeah. And it's probably, they may be in that order. I don't know. But anyways, I would say number 6 would have to be sports teams. And I say that because sports teams don't do it doesn't benefit my life one way or the other at all. Like, it doesn't benefit me. Like, if they put any money in my pocket, like, I can root for them, cheer them on, bravo, this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, they don't add any measure of value to my life, to my family's life, anything like that. So I am home team. Y'all know the Dallas Cowboys. We're here in Dallas, Texas. So I root for them, and we grew up as Los Angeles Lakers fans because growing up in Oklahoma, we ain't had no professional basketball team. So we rooted for the Lakers. We love the Lakers. So at the end of the day, that's who I am. I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Brian, go get this chip. Dallas, I'm hoping for the best with this whole Dak situation. We just need to win games.
All right. So you said sports teams will be number 6. What about?
All right. So Deontay, I'm gonna start with you.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with you. So out of those 3, what would you put as the least important to you right now? Out of fraternities, sports teams, and politics.
Well, for me, that's kind of easy because I've never been involved in a fraternity, so I don't even have experience, in that type of organization. So that would be my least important right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay. All right, Ken, what about you?
I'm the same. Fraternities will be probably at the bottom. I'm not a member of a fraternity, so I mean that's not of any importance to me right now.
So that's okay. So wait a minute. So fraternity is your least important.
Yeah.
Okay. So Deontay, you saying that fraternity is your least important too?
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then Brian, what about you?
It's gonna be fraternities too. Let's say I'm not in one. I know that I have a lot of family members that are in fraternities.
Mm-hmm.
And then I even have some people that are in other organizations. I mean, to me, I thought about it when I was in college, but I couldn't get past the hazing part. And I remember I had a friend of mine was just like, yeah, I don't know if you could do a fraternity, Brian. I said, why? I mean, if part of me's like, yeah, I seem pretty cool. But then she's like, I don't see you being a person that's just going to let somebody smack you. You don't hit them back. I said, oh, yeah, that's definitely going to happen. And I told I told my brother or my cousins, I said, so you just let them hit you? Yeah, man, you can't hit them back.
Oh,
I
wow,
wouldn't have
really?
made it. I was like, I wouldn't have made it. I said, sometimes it's just a reflex. I can't help that.
Yeah.
So, but I will also say with fraternities, I do take a different, have a different mindset about them. Because I've seen the good and the bad with them. I've seen when I was at Central State, I saw a whole bunch of dudes that were just lame, and then they joined outfits, and then they were just getting all these girls, and I was just like, yo, that is so lame. I was like, this dude's still soft. Like, if we were getting a fight, I'll win, and you still want him because he's an alpha. Okay, that's weak. And then I've also seen the good with some fraternities. We're actually doing a lot of good things in the community, even like with some of the Masons. So my thought process, especially when I got saved, was, you know, how church tries to demonize everything because we don't fully know, or because somebody may have one bad experience through that lodge. But just finding out, talking with various people, and then just getting people's different sides. Every fraternity or lodge isn't all the same. You know, they all may come with the same, under the same name, but they all don't believe or do the same things. Like if I were to do a fraternity, I'd probably be a Q. That's what I was thinking about doing. But at that time in college, the Qs actually were banned from Ohio State because they just got real bad from hazing somebody.
Okay.
So nobody could have joined. But, you know, again, you know, my perspective is when I see it, so especially with like even the masonry stuff, you know, everybody says, oh, you a Mason, you going to hell, you serve the devil. And there's pastors that I know that are doing real great things in the community, family members. And I was like, man, that was a lie. They fed a lie to me. So, you know, when I started really seeing stuff, especially in the faith, and started having my own mind, letting my own self think, and quit trying to just be forced spoon-fed things without being, you know, wise in my own mind, and actually doing what the Bible tells you to do, study, show ourselves approved under God. You know what I mean? So when I started looking at stuff, I was just like, bro, that's not all how that is. And I'm like, just because that fraternity or that Mason Lodge or that sister lodge is doing that, doesn't mean that's how they all are. One of my good mentors is in the fraternity.
Okay.
And he does great things for the community, political wise and everything. So
yeah.
Sorry, that was long-winded.
Okay. So you wouldn't put fraternities last. So what would you? So because it's got some value in it. So what would you put last?
That is last.
Oh, it is last. Okay.
Yeah,
well, my thought on it is this then, because the reason why I put sports last, I'm gonna tell you why. Because, like I said in the clip, I don't really see it being any value to me. Like, I love my sports. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really serve. It doesn't benefit me. I don't got no stock. I ain't got no stock in the Los Angeles Lakers, the Dallas Cowboys, which I probably should. But anyways, I don't. But I can see how fraternities could kind of benefit your life, even though I don't ascribe to any fraternity. I don't endorse fraternities at all with the whole hazing and some of the things that they do. Like I said, it's counterintuitive against the faith, even though there's some good things that they may do. At the end of the day, there's some things that can benefit your life of being in a fraternity. Like there's some fellow brethren that can kind of look out for you when it comes to employment and stuff like that. Like that stuff happens in real life. So that's the only reason why I don't have fraternities as my last. I have sports as my last, because at least fraternities, if I was in a fraternity, there's some way that it may be able to benefit me, you know, in the long run. So that's my thought on that. So
yeah. And I just wanted to say all that stuff with because we're live. I wanted to say all this stuff with fraternities, and sororities and stuff, and all those other organizations, just because I mean a lot of people have been fed a lot of lies, and so they get brainwashed with stuff. And I just thought, you know what, if I'm gonna say it's this, I at least want to explain everything that's going on with it. So everybody can quit looking at it from one side. Like, you really have to look at things from different perspectives, because you're just closed-minded. And then that's how you get division. That's how you get racism. That's how you get so many denominations. That's how you get so many religions. That's how you get so many different opinions. Because everybody's going to stay on one side and never look at the full perspective of things. So.
Right. All right, so that leaves the other two. So we're talking about with politics, and we're talking about what is it? Sports. So Ken, out of those two, what would you rank number 5?
I mean, for me, honestly, politics, I know it affects everything, but I'm not really a political type of guy. Like, I do what's necessary. I vote. I'm concerned. I read. I look at the videos, the news, you know what I'm saying, to stay up on it. But I'm not really, you know what I'm saying, into politics like that. So when people have conversations about politics, I usually won't join, or I kind of shy away from, because it's not my thing.
Okay. So I guess politics will be number 5 for you, and then so you got sports then. Okay. All right. Deontay, what's up with you? Those two.
All right. So man, I was kind of struggling to rank both of these, but I ended up landing on the politics as 5, just as Big Ken mentioned. And the only reason I made that differentiation is because I think the difference between they are both divisive, right? Politics can be, as well as sports, you know. But like you just started off this live, you know, you talking about you rooting for you all you guys are out there in Texas, you know, y'all all probably got different teams y'all affiliated with, but we can all still come together, you know, we can still have conversations about that at the end of the day. With politics, it seems like if you on one side or the other, it's hard to find commonality and common ground there. You know what I mean? So I think for that reason, that's why I end up ranking politics 5 and sports 4. And then also with sports too, if we're gonna touch on race and ethnicity in the next segment or whatever, I think sports has benefited the Black community in a way as far as economic growth. If you look at the percentage of Black athletes. So.
Okay, wow. Well, you know, that's something you just mentioned. That made me kind of rethink my my ranking, because I didn't even think about it like that. Like, you know what? Like, it has benefited the Black culture like tremendously. Like, there's brothers out there and sisters as well that's getting that generational wealth, like setting up their family for like the next generation, and the next generation. So, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, I guess in the grand scheme of things, if you were to look at it like that, then I guess, yeah, sports would be ranked higher than fraternities and political parties and all that other stuff, if you looked at it, you know, in the grand scheme of things. So, yeah. But if you're talking about on an individual basis, like, you know, what's most important to me in general, then that's why I put sports, you know, last, just because, you know, it doesn't put any money in my pocket. Now, we got a lot of professional athletes here in Dallas, and I wouldn't mind. I love to tell them, hey, you know, listen, you can break me off something, you know, that'd be great. Then sports might shoot up to like number 2 or no, maybe like number 4 is gonna be the highest they can shoot. But anyways, all right, B, what about you? Where you from?
Mine would be number 5 would be sports. I look at sports in a way having conversations with people. Especially being down here in Dallas, you know, my favorite sports team in football is the Steelers. And then even talking with some Ohioans, you know, I even give them a story like, hey, I was bamboozled and, again, spoon-fed from my dad to, you know, root for the Cleveland Browns. And when they left, it was a blessing.
All right, I'll see y'all later, man.
Oh, man. Oh, dog! I forgot to mention. Deontay is still that brother that is rooting for the mistake by the late Cleveland Browns.
Look, you see, he muted his mic because he's about to say some things he didn't want to say.
I got respect for that, though. I got respect for that guy, though. I got respect for anybody who will stick with who will ride or die for their city. I respect that. I don't care how terrible your team is. If you ride for them, you ride for them. That's just the way I grew up.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
we just feel for the brother. I respect the heck out of Deontay. I just feel very bad for the brother. Very.
Hey, if y'all ever want to see a faithful person, man, hey, pick out a Browns fan. I'm trying to tell you.
Yep, and if you ever want to see sickly people with high blood pressure, getting early heart attacks, having early strokes, ask them who's their favorite football team. As soon as they say the Cleveland Browns, you can be like, well, that's the problem. That's the problem. I saw one dude, I had my Owens U-Haul hat on, and he was trying to talk to me about the Browns. The first thing he said was, oh, I can't take it. They keep doing this to me, grabbing his heart. Like he's Sanford the Sound off of Fred off of Sanford the Sound, man. Red Fox. Oh, here's the right. But no, for me it would be sports. So it's conversational pieces. I look at those as like doorways to get to know somebody. I also use those as doorways possibly to minister to them as well. I also can see sports as being a way of bringing people together. Because you can have people that will dislike you, or y'all have differences, but it's like as soon as sports comes in, if y'all have the same team, all those differences are set aside. Even being on a sports team in college, I know that different people had different views, but when it came time to the practice, came time to games, even protecting each other outside of being on the field, it brought us together as a family. So you came from different cultures, backgrounds, and everybody became one. And then two, I look at it as another sense of kind of having like some pride. So D, I'll give you that one. You have some pride about Cleveland. And it gives you also that outlet. Like I sometimes use it for an outlet of just, it's been a hard day. I'm ready to watch my team play the game. Hopefully they win. But it's another way to kind of like escape, you know what I mean? Just for sometimes the realities, like you just, if you don't get that, always get that serenity that you need, that sports can bring it. Like, all right, I got an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't care about nothing else going on. I'm about to watch this championship and just have a good time. So that's why I say sports will be 5. Politics will probably be a lot higher for me. So I don't know if you want me to comment on that now.
Oh man, that's cool. We can go into politics. So you say politics is number 4 for you, right?
So now what's the other 6?
Well, those 3 we talking about, like, so right now we got fraternities, sports teams, politics.
All right. Well, so truthfully, out of all the topics that we got, I mean, I guess Ginger will really be my 6th.
Hold on, we ain't going there yet, bro.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I can't say politics is 4 because you got other stuff on the list.
Yeah, well, all them top 3 right there, those are the ones that are way more important than these bottom 3.
Okay, so all right, so for me,
we don't get into we don't get into the real stuff here in a minute, but let's
so the next one is from the 3 we got will be politics. I look at that as being important for history reasons, for African American communities, for minorities, because when you look at everything that's going on right now with the social injustice, the racial tensions that we have, and then you look at different sects from religion, organizations, and the one thing I can say as African American community, we fell off on exercising our right to vote. And regardless if we look at a election being rigged or not, people laid their lives down to make sure that we had the equal right to be placed to vote, to somewhat be fair in the game.
Yeah.
And to see people not go out and exercise that right, and being down here in Texas, it's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, bro, you're in the Bible Belt, and 2, you were closest than me in the state to be around in the civil rights. Yeah. Like y'all got so much history here, and then like hearing some of the Hebrew Israelites where they telling like they all supposed to be about Black power, but they telling people not to go vote. It don't mean nothing. It's the white man system. I'm like, bro, no, it's the American system that we have right now to exercise our right, and then so many people are hoodwinked to think that the only important election is the presidency. Your most important election is dealing where you live, your state, your local, because those are the ones that are killing everybody out here in the streets. There's the ones that have chief police that are continuously to be racist, and they get voted in, y'all. Judges, they get voted in.
Yeah,
we tell them to be in here. So
let me interject a little bit with that. What you mentioned with the Hebrew Israelite, it's funny. Like, we're supposed to be about Black power and all this other stuff, and Hebrew Israelite say don't vote. But here's the thing: no matter what color you are, the policies are going to affect you no matter what. You still going to have to pay taxes. You still going to have to, adhere to the laws that are passed. So we need to vote. I don't understand why we would tell people, especially people of color who have bled and died for our right to vote, and all of a sudden we're just going to say, you know what? Let me not vote. I think that's a slap in the face to our forefathers, to our ancestors, and people who are currently living right now. So
yeah, and the other thing, especially to the African American community, when we were fighting for that right to vote, we were fighting for the whole minority race to be involved in that voting process. That goes from Mexicans, Asians, whoever, foreigners. Just put all foreigners. You were all included in that right to vote. And I just think sometimes, man, even as a church, we want to promote somebody because of a party. And I'm like, bro, at this point in my life, I don't care about a party. If you ask me, I don't want to consider myself Democrat. I don't want to consider myself Republican.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on the Democratic slide, but the truth is, I want to know what's your policies, what's going to be the best things that's going to be beneficial for my family, for my faith. What's going to keep us safe? Am I still going to keep my freedom? Because there's some things with the Democrats, man, where they have our freedoms in the Constitution, where they were going against and trying to take away. But because they're saying, oh, well, we Democrats, just vote for me, pick me, dude, it put us so much behind. I mean, and that's why I say, for me, history and the politics will go a lot higher, because if we don't understand our history and know our history, we continue to repeat the whole cycle. And I even think just with this here whole Black Lives Matter thing of us protesting, all we're doing is just reproducing the cycle that we've already done in the 60s and 70s.
All right, I'm going to cut you off right there. We're going into the ethnicity stuff.
All right, my bad.
To get that gender and ethnicity in there, which leads me to question. Like you said, you started mentioning gender. I'm like, would you even put gender even in your bottom three?
Man,
okay. Hold on. Let me just get that answer real quick. I want to move on to something else real quick.
Would it be in my bottom three? Yes.
Gender would be in your bottom three.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, that's okay. We can talk about it. You just want to answer.
We're gonna have to talk about that right there. Listen. So Nikki, my wife Nikki, she chimed in and says about the sports we was talking about. She says, yes, I have noticed the beauty of how people of all different backgrounds can come together to root for the same team in sports. It's like the differences no longer matter. It will be great if this mindset could be applied to other areas in life. And that's true. That's true. I think a lot of people always talk about how, the beauty of sports is like, people can just come together from all different backgrounds. But it's like, man, can we just translate that outside of the locker room too?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, even on the professional level. Go ahead, Ken.
I think one of the biggest things, though, that people pull together with sports is a lot of us played sports. So we have that camaraderie from sports, and we take that same mindset and apply it to our team, now that we're not actively participating. And that's why, for me, I put sports at 4, because for me, sports, I grew up playing sports from the time I was 6 to the time I was 20. So, and I still play, in leagues and stuff now. So I understand the dynamics of how sports, pulls everybody together. And even in our adult basketball leagues at OCBF, like, I see how much that changes guys and how much that affects guys. And, with politics to me is important, but it can be very divisive, right? Because number one, it doesn't benefit the minority people for the most part. All of the legislation and everything that they come up with, anything that's going to be beneficial to us is usually not passed. It's put out there, but it's not passed. So when we were talking about the voting, that's why a lot of Black people in general have become, blah with voting, because they don't feel like it matters. They feel like they go out here and vote, and their vote is, you know, just it's just something. It's just a formality, right? Because nothing ever occurs, and you have to place the importance on it, like y'all was saying, like on the local. And I tell people about this all the time. That judge that your son sees when he gets in trouble, that's the guy that you voted for, you didn't vote for. So that's what's most important. The presidential election is a problem with that because of the way the voting is set up. You got a popular vote, and you got your delegations.
Electoral college.
Yeah, the electoral college. So my thing is, even if you win a popular vote, Hillary Clinton, that doesn't mean you're gonna win electoral because the powers that be. So I mean, I understand how people can become, what I'm saying, like tired of the same thing, but at the same time, like y'all was saying earlier, you kind of got to do your own research, your own reading, get your own knowledge base to whatever it is, and then move forward from there, because that's the only way you're going to be able to make moves strategically and not emotionally.
Yeah. So I agree. And so like with and it gets really discouraging, especially when you live in a red state. Like all these states in the South, man, they're red. And it's like when you do that, when you do that presidential vote, it's like, dang, man, is it really gonna make a difference? But you still persevere, you still go out and vote no matter what. But it is very disheartening. Go ahead, Brian, and then I'm gonna get to D.
So I was gonna actually speed on.
How you did a little hand raise?
Yeah, because I ain't got no buzzer to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, hey, teach. Can I stop it? Good. But I can speak on electoral votes and then the popular votes. So the popular votes and electoral votes is all set up because there's different populations in each state. So when you have Texas, you have 5 states in one state, compared to a Utah, even though it's a big state, they have a very low population. So the electoral vote is what's kind of like balancing out the population base in the votes, because the popular vote in Utah could have been all Hillary and blew Trump out the water. But then you get here to Texas, and then Trump's like the popular vote, but then Hillary's like right here. So that electoral vote is what kind of keeps those in balance with the different states of population. So that's what that's for. And I know it hasn't really been explained. I mean, I just recently came to know that because I even asked politicians. They was like, I don't know. But, I asked somebody, they was probably able to tell me. And then I would say, too, I think what they're doing now with government history, I think they're taking it out of schools. So a lot of people don't even know how votes or bills can get passed through legislation in America. They don't even know how that even works. So I think they're taking it out of schools now.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, go ahead, D. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to kind of speak on that as well as what Brian just mentioned. The electoral college and how it was generally created to bring more balance in voting, because you can take the big population states like California, Texas, and stuff like that. They all voted for one person, and it went just based on popularity because they have a majority of the population. Then it'd be an even. So yeah, I just was going to add that as well. So
yeah. So where do you fall as far as what does politics fall with you? Like, between politics and what, sports? So where do you fall on that?
Oh yeah. I think I started it off. I mentioned sports before and politics before.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Just based on camaraderie and stuff like that, and just how divisive politics can be. But I think more or less, in what the reason why I put politics is as 5 too. I think I'm looking at politics more from like the national stage. It's more the presidential vote. I think like a lot of you guys said, locally, we definitely need to exercise our vote, because that's the majority where it's going to affect us personally. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So without for anybody else got anything to add to that? Oh, before we get into that, Nikki, my wife, chimed in again, which I love. She says, yes, as Christians, we have to see where the different politicians stand on the different issues and how it aligns to the word of God. Like y'all were saying, it is no longer simply Democrats versus Republicans. Like what is like what we were heard growing up. Again, you really have to study the issues and where the politicians stand on the issues, you know, and that agreed. We really have to see where they stand on the issues because, you know, again, like I'm just not going, I'm just done with that whole default vote Democrat. I'm done with that. I'm done. I've been done with that for a long time though. Like I really want to vote on policies that are going to affect me, you know, and align mostly with my Christian beliefs, because at the end of the day, y'all know I'm Christian first regardless. But anyway, so Nikki laughed at you, so you got an educator laughing at you, Brian, for raising your hand. That's cool.
Hey, but I think this is also important too, when it comes with the politics piece. Since we have an open discussion about it, is don't always believe what the media tells you. I'll say this, and I know probably almost every African American is probably going to try and stone me. I don't care. Like everybody, I really don't care. Like I was not an Obama supporter. I don't care. Like the dude didn't do anything for African Americans. Like what did you do? Like I was okay. What, you a black president? Thank you. But what did you really do for us? And I know, yeah, you got a lot of pushback and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I mean, I know we put one program for people that didn't have fathers. And I'm not a big Trump supporter, but this dude has been able to free a lot of people from the prison system that were wrongfully convicted, and a lot of them are African Americans, and the media doesn't want to play that.
Yeah,
which
especially and especially which one you watch. Do you watch CNN? You watch Fox? Which one?
Right. So and then, you know, they cutting stuff out. So you thinking, oh, what he said was so bad, but they don't even know the whole conversation. They didn't hear the whole conversation of what was going on.
Yeah, I think it's a dangerous thing whenever we take bits and pieces of what people say at a speech, and then we just cycle that as if that's the only thing they said. You don't get the context of what they said. Like I hate when people do that with the word of God. They take one little scripture and they don't look at the context of what's being said. Like you don't know the time and when he said it. You don't know the culture. You don't know what he said before that verse. You don't know what he said after that verse. You're just gonna take that verse and do the same thing. That's the same thing what people are doing with Kanye West. People will take a piece of what Kanye West said in his speech about, you know, Harriet Tubman and all this other stuff. But did you look at the rest of the stuff he was saying? You know what I'm saying? Did you look at it, or you gonna take one piece and run with that piece? Did you were you looking what he was trying to say? Were you looking at his heart behind what he said, or you just, you know, just cancel culture? Because y'all already know I could care less about cancel culture. I have been on this for a minute, for a long time. Listen, man, bravo to former President Obama. I love the man. However, he did nothing for African Americans. He did not.
Never for faith.
He didn't do anything for African Americans. I love him. Got love for him. Respect his family. All that. But I don't know if his hands were tied or what. All I know is this: nothing was done for us. A lot was done for other people and other demographics and other communities. Nothing was done for African Americans directly. Nothing. So, anyways, we're gonna move on from there because I know. Listen, and there's probably a lot of people that want to counsel me right now. I could care less. I'm the same dude. Listen, my YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, with me, Nikki, and the kids, that Christian fam. We got 365 subscribers. Guess what? I was the same dude when I had no subscribers. I'm going to be the same dude when we have 500,000 subscribers. I'm still going to be that dude that will tell you I really don't care.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If you cut us off because of that, because of how we think, then you the one being petty. Because just because you don't agree with what I think or how I believe, what makes you now better than me, so that now makes you want to cancel me. So how much better are you being by just canceling me off because I don't agree with what you disagree with?
Well, here's the thing, man. I don't want to jump too far, but I'm gonna tell you this. Here's how, and Ken, we talked about this before. The people who were siding with Nick Cannon when he said what he said, which was ignorant, by the way, who were siding with him when he came out and apologized, those same people were like canceled Nick Cannon. So it's like there's no loyalty. It's like the same people. It's like, listen, but if you look at, listen, look, Jesus knows about this all too well. One Sunday, it was Palm Sunday, and they were saying, Hosanna, Hosanna. Then that same week, What was they saying?
Crucify
Crucify him. Free Barabbas, crucify him. So I'm not comparing Nick Cannon to Jesus at all. At all. There's no comparison. But what I will tell you is people have been finicky since inception, since creation. People have always been finicky. 1 minute they with you, 1 minute they ain't. That's why you do not move by the culture. You do not be swayed by the wisdom of the crowd, so to speak, but you be your own man, make your own decisions with God as your guide. So,
yep.
So anyways, man, we're going to move on to the top 3. This is the creme de la creme right here. This is the heavy stuff. All this other stuff was that milk, or that milk, like I like to say, milk with an R. But we finna get into the meat of the discussion right here. Let me play this.
Talk, man.
Share.
Number 3 would be my ethnicity. As much as I love being black, and I love being that black man, as much as I love that, I love being a man more. And honestly, you know, we have a lot of stuff pulling at us right now with the whole George Floyd, with the whole Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and all that other stuff. And so we have a lot of things pulling at us right now. And a lot of these things, like with the BLM movement and with Nick Cannon, I'm going to address those 2 things. Now, here's the thing. I agree with BLM. I agree that Black Lives Matter. I agree with the sentiment. I don't agree with the organization. And the reason why I don't agree with the organization is because their beliefs are directly against the word of God. It's rooted in Marxism, and they believe in tearing down the westernized structure of the family. Like, they don't believe in having a husband and a wife and that being it. They push their agenda strongly. You have to look into their bylaws or whatever and go look at what they say on their site directly. A lot of what they say go directly against the word of God.
All right, so I'm gonna go to gender.
I really love being a man. Like, I could not imagine being a woman. It's such an honor being a man, and this is something that I take great pleasure and honor in doing. Like, I love providing for y'all. I love providing for my wife and children. I love being that father figure, that man of the house, that man of God. I love being the provider. Like, I love being a husband. Like, I look forward to doing those fatherly things. I know that it's hard being a man. I know that there's a lot of weight that falls on us, but I embrace that challenge because I know with Christ I can do anything. So, and plus the whole bedroom situation. Listen, let's just keep it. All right. I love being a man.
Yeah. That's what's up. So, anyways, listen. That's
you
you should have like stopped that way before that part, because you know why we all laugh.
Say what? Say what?
No, go ahead, man.
No, man. Listen, man. Yeah. So that's where I stand, man. Like I said, I love being a black man. I do. But for me, my gender, I love being a man. I do. There's such honor and there's such weight there's such a weight that's placed on us. I get that. But yo, I embrace that. I embrace that wholeheartedly. I love it. I love the fact that I'm the man of the house. I can scoop up my kids. I can discipline my kids. I can give my kids direction. I can give my kids guidance. And they love hearing the voice of their father. When their father says something, they listen. Not to say they don't listen to Nikki, because y'all know Nikki can get their attention and get them to listen to and all that. That's great. But there's something about, and me and Nikki, we talked about this before, as her being an educator, she has said, and she's seen, and there's been other teachers that have said the same thing, that the women teachers, the female teachers could say something all day, but when they hear something, when they hear the man speak, it's something about the voice of a man. When you hear the voice of a man, it's like, oh, hold up, let me pay attention. I don't know if it's the bass in the voice. Sorry for y'all high-pitched cats. I don't know if it's the bass, it's the whatever it is. It's the authority in the man, and I just really love being a man. And then, like we said, the whole bedroom thing. Like I said, I'm gonna leave it at this. I love being a man. Love my race. Love that all day. Love it all day. Love being a black man. But I would say that my gender takes precedence over my race. At the end of the day, I still want to be a man. And then with the whole, well, I'm not going to go into that right now. We're going to go into BLM and Nick Cannon, but I want to get y'all thoughts. So, Deontay, I'm going to go with you first.
Man, I don't know if there's any more to add to that, man. You like kind of got it up in a nutshell, man. Like, yeah, I don't think there's a privilege and there's
so you would rank your ethnicity third and then your gender second. Yeah,
I think so. Because I think more so just even though we know Galatians in Galatians 3 it talks about Jew nor Greek, male nor female, we all one in Christ, right? So I know even just the bringing up this and trying to rank it, it's kind of hard to do. I obviously know if our faith gears us to not put one preference over other, speaking to other people, you know what I mean? But as far as, just to entertain the question and stuff, yeah, I think being a man, I would put that over being, being black. I think I would value that higher. It's a privilege, but then it's also a great responsibility too, So yeah, man, I enjoy that. And then also too, man, the perk of not having to sit down to pee, man, like that's awesome.
Right, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got to worry about is the toilet seat down or not.
Right.
But even though, I'll still put up the toilet seat. I mean, just But anyways, we whip it out and go. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. If you got to use the bathroom, you're out in the wilderness, you can hit a tree all day.
Right.
You're a woman. Yeah. You can't. You might end up with an infection or something. So Ken, what's up? Talk to me, bruh. Where you at?
Nah, I totally agree. I definitely would not want to be a woman. My hat's off to them, and they bring life into the world, and that's one thing I ain't interested in. You know what I'm saying? I help you make one, but I don't want to bring one in. You know what I'm saying? I'll be there with you when you bring it in, but I don't want to bring one in. So I'll pass on that. Definitely.
Oh God.
So I agree with the order that you have them in. I mean, it's just kind of cut and dry for me. I mean, I wouldn't change it.
B.
And plus I'm already beige, so I mean, people most of the time don't know if I'm black, mixed or whatever. So.
Man, I got the same
There
thing.
you go. There you go.
They're like, you Mexican, Chinese? I'm like, man, come on,
I think it's the mustache, bro.
D, they be asking you that. They be asking
it's the mustache, man. It's the mustache.
D, they ask you that up in Columbus?
Bruh. I need to put like black on my ID or something, man. Like I need to put it like in.
It is on your ID.
Hey, are you mixed with something? Are you Mexican? Are you Chinese? Like our neighbors
wear a shirt. You need to wear a shirt that says, "Don't ask, I'm black."
Our neighbors are Filipino, and they was like, that's like, I thought you were like when I first met them, they started speaking in their language. I'm like, nah.
Bro, listen. Yes, I'm telling y'all. Listen, we moved back down south to Dallas, Texas, and I'm gonna tell you, Nikki gets that a lot. Where you have a lot of Hispanics that go up to my wife and they start speaking Spanish as if she know it, and she be like, she don't know it. She's like, muy like no habla español, muy poquito. She speaks just a little bit, but they expecting her to just have it. Like, go ahead. And she like, yo, I don't know Spanish. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm a light skinned chick. I'm black, and I don't speak Spanish yet. That's one of our quests. We do want to speak Spanish someday fluently in our household. So we'll see how that go. B, where you at with it?
So for me, it didn't have value because I'm comfortable who I am. I know what I'm gonna do, and so I just never gave it all that. When we come to the different ranks of what's value, like I'm comfortable who I am. Like that's all I said. I don't need to go too in depth with this. Like I just know what I'm supposed to do.
Okay, so you're saying gender over your ethnicity?
No, like gender was like at the bottom of my toe, my totem bone.
Okay, so you're saying that you would rather be. So you're saying if you could have it, if you had to give one up, you would switch to. Well, I ain't gonna say switch.
No, I'm switching nothing.
Okay, hold on.
I enjoy being a man.
I don't want
Out of the list that you gave me, my thought process wasn't going to all what y'all said. It was just, I know who I am. I'm good with what I'm supposed to do. Next, that's all I thought about it.
Okay, so if you're ranking, so that's what I'm trying to get. So you would rank ethnicity less important than your gender.
Actually, it would be my ethnicity. Actually, probably be more, but like I said, for me, you would have to explain like what are we talking about.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. For you to say that,
I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I was thinking when I heard it. I'm like, I know I'm a guy. I love God. I know what I'm gonna do. I know how to take care of myself. I'm like, that's a given. Cool. I'm comfortable. I don't think about being anything else, doing anything else. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. I'm good. Let's move on. That's what it was. That's how I thought about it.
Yeah, so I think so. Nikki chimed in. She says, "Correction. I don't tell them I don't say it, or don't say I don't say it. I don't know it. I just tell them I only speak a little." Yeah, I think I said muy poquito. Didn't I say muy poquito? Like, doesn't that mean little? Anyways, yeah. So she speaks little Spanish. She speaks some Spanish, just a little. But so Brian, so this is where we at with this, then, bro. This is the crux of it. So are you saying that you would switch to being a black woman?
Oh my gosh, bro! Did you listen to what I said? Did you listen to what I said?
Okay, I just
listen to what I said. Because you said, your mindset and your thought, you about to try and say, "Man, we about to straight cut Brian out the video." I feel like this is the tension I'm getting. Man, we about to cut him off. And I told you, my thought process was, I'm a guy. I love being a guy. Don't want to be nothing else. Ain't thinking about nothing else. And let's move on. I know what I'm supposed to do. Okay. That was my whole thought process when it came to ginger. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to explain, like, you just say ginger. My thought was, I'm a guy. Love being a guy. Don't want to be nothing else.
Right, cool. Right. So that would take precedence over you being African American, being black.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not putting too much thought in that part, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm comfortable with who I am.
Look, listen,
like, you got to give me more of what you're trying to ask for me on ranking it, because in my thought process, it's a low totem pole compared to everything else. Like, I don't want to be a black woman.
Let me put it this way. If you had to give up something,
I ain't giving up nothing.
Would you give up being?
You never said this in the beginning when we're ranking that we have to give up something to rank it. That was never in the description, bro. You
in order of importance, if you had to give up race, if you had to give up ethnicity or gender first, which one would you give up first? Let me reverse it.
I guess my question is, why I have to give it up?
Because we're ranking. This is the whole ranking process.
That don't mean I'm giving nothing up. It's just not that important to me.
It's Jermaine's world, man.
I have to give up being a man or being black. Wow. I feel like
that's what I'm saying. Hey, listen. Hey, somebody needs it. Brian, this is why it's so tough. You have to choose. Let me ask you, if you have to choose. Yes, if you have to.
It's all hypothetical.
Yeah. What'd you say, Ken?
I said it's all hypothetical.
Yes, right. All hypothetical, bro.
Okay, yeah, I would say being a male, man. I mean, if I had a choice, but my whole thing's like, it's not. I'm not putting it like I'm black. I accepted this a long time ago when my mom and dad had a conversation. You black, you got 2 strikes against you, and you a male.
Brian, Nikki. It sounds like he's saying that one is not ranking over the other. Just call her the top for him. See, Nicole had time to say, we're just gonna call her the top for you because you are a horrible hypothetical brother. Horrible.
Listen, you came and said we're gonna rank these of what's important to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I just gave it.
This is where it gets tough for you, bro. Which you have to choose. Like, which
I don't have to give up nothing. You just said what's the point? That doesn't mean I'm giving up something.
Yeah, we'll call it a tie. We'll call it a tie. So
that's like saying which child you love the best. Your first daughter, your second daughter, your third daughter. You gotta rank them which number one to you, and you gotta lose one of them. Bro, come on,
man. So at the end of the day, man, like I said, I love my ethnicity. I'm not proud of some of the stuff that's going on right now when we talk about the BLM movement. Like I said in the clip, y'all saw in the video, I do not agree with the BLM movement. I do not. If you read their bylaws, y'all, I ain't got to put y'all on game. Y'all know what's up. But for the people who are viewing, if you need to go on their website and look what they are talking about, it's horrible. It's horrible. If you're a Christian, you can't say that you agree with the Bible and also agree with this movement as well. I agree with the sentiment all day. Black Lives Matter. Got it. If a fireman comes to a neighborhood, he's going to put the fire out on the house that's burning and not be worried about all the other houses. Yep, got it. That makes total sense. We're here with that. But when it comes with the movement, I'm not. I think what has happened with the thing with the BLM movement is this: it has tried to align itself with the civil rights of African Americans, even though it's not necessarily talking about the civil rights of African Americans. It's talking about the civil rights of the LGBTQ. Mm-hmm. Hopefully I didn't leave out an alphabet, but if I did, I really don't care. But they've kind of like slipped that in, like, hey, let's say this is for Black folk, but it's not just for Black folk, it's for people of a certain community. And last I checked, being Black doesn't have anything to do with aligning with the Bible, but the way that we conduct ourselves and the way that we live and the way that we choose to live does have to align with the Word of God. So at the end of the day, I do not endorse that movement at all. As far as Nick Cannon,
I still don't understand it.
Before we get on the Nick Cannon, any y'all got anything to say about the BLM movement?
Nah, I agree with you. I agree with the overall, sentiment of the movement, but the little, moving parts and stuff like that, it's a lot of stuff that, gets kind of murky as you dig deeper. So, people just got to do their own research and read up about it and figure out who is, the people who are heading that organization. And then that will tell you a lot about, the things that they're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's real. Same thing, man. I agree with the sentiment, not the organization. Yeah, man, they're just about dismantling the nucleus of a family, you know what I mean? As the Bible illustrates, man, between a man and a woman, and they raise children and that reproduces, Mm-hmm. So they don't agree with that. They don't believe in that. And I think they just use this movement as they basically hijack, the sentiment of the movement. That was birthed out of police brutality, and there's an awareness for that, against the Black people, and now they've made it something else entirely. So, but then also too, like, what do you think about when people kind of don't know how to differentiate the two, right? So if you're talking to someone of another race or ethnic group, and you say, yeah, I believe Black Lives Matter, and then you get more of a negative response because they assume that when you say that you're talking about you're aligning yourself with the organization, not the sentiment. How do you address those?
What I would say is, the thing about it is it just takes effort. We Google anything we really want to know about. Like, for you to have to, and this is what I believe, like, for you to have to educate someone on racism, that means they don't care about racism because it's everywhere. When you really want to know about something, what do? You Google it, you research it, right? And it's the same thing with that.
The only caveat I want to add to that, though, is we have to look at what I tell, especially Black people all the time, is when they try to explain stuff to white people or somebody of another race, you're explaining to them something that they've never experienced. So it's kind of talking on mute ears because they can hear it all day, but they're never going to understand what you're talking about or what you're trying to explain to them because they've never been through it. So it's kind of like you trying to get them to understand something that they just can't wrap their brain around because they haven't had those type of experiences, right? It's like you trying to explain something you're trying to explain cricket to somebody who's never played cricket before, right? They might have a general, understanding of kind of how to play it, but they never played it before. So until they actually play it, they don't know how hard it is. And because they can't become black, we can go play cricket, but they can't become black. They'll never know how hard it is to, to do certain things because they just don't have that frame of reference. So you can explain it to them till you blue in the face. They're not going to get it. They're not going to understand it. And the only thing we can do is try to educate them. Like you explained, like the analogy you use, that's a great analogy. And that's Deontay, that's what I would do. Like when I have people around me and they try to, white people, and they try to, ask about the BLM movement, I just tell them, hey, that's simply what it is. That's simply what it's supposed to be. Now, what they're doing, all these other moving parts, but the sentiment of when you see on somebody's shirt, the average person, they're just rocking with what they think the sentiment is. They don't understand the organization at all.
Yes. And I'm glad you said that because, like I listen to Christian hip hop all the time. And then Derek Minor said something about a week ago. He was like, listen, man, 95% of the black folk you see wearing BLM don't agree with the movement, the sentiment, the movement, what the movement stands behind. They're just saying Black Lives Matter. And so they could care less about, oh, well, the political part of it and what their agenda is behind it. They're really just saying, yo, I agree with the sentiment. They're not going that deep into it. And I think we almost need to start wearing shirts that say BLM sentiment or something, or BLM Christian or something like that. Something, because it seems like people are just getting really defensive over the BLM. And it's like, listen, bro, when I say BLM, I am not saying I agree with the movement, but I'm just saying Black Lives Matter because they do matter. But for so long in the history of this country, they've been treated as if they don't matter. So we're saying Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying?
So can I say some stuff on that? So Ken, I get what you're saying. And there's certain parts where I agree with y'all, but then there's other parts where you got to understand the history of what's going on and how it got to this point. The first thing is, do I think that people don't know what racism is, or it's been there and they really don't know what it is because they don't want to know? I don't believe that. I believe that it can't set it to where they only know what they've been around. What we're doing is trying to explain to somebody that's been winning all the time what it means to lose. So if you've been a winner your whole life, you don't know what it means to lose. You don't know what it means to come behind. You don't know what it means to be an underdog. So if you've always been the favorite, you'll never know until you're the underdog or till you start losing. So if you've always been a winner, you won't know. When it comes to the Black Lives Matters, and we're talking about the LBGK community.
Q.
I always mess it up.
Can't keep up, huh? Can't keep up.
Yeah. I'm not even trying to be funny, but I'm being very serious on this matter, because what people don't realize is that this community actually tied in to civil rights way back in the day, and this happened after Martin Luther King died. And it was by a man of the church of the cloth. He was a Methodist by the name of Tom Perry. He was a minister, but he was a gay minister. He openly came out and he joined with the civil rights movement because of the hate crimes. Their community, because I say in there, not trying to be inconsiderate, because I think in this conversation we do need to be serious about it, because we do have different people that we have to be conscious about how they feel. Right. Yeah, we don't possibly agree with some of the lifestyle, but at the same time, I'm not going to disclaim you or treat you bad as a person or say that I'm going to push you away, because the first thing as a Christian, they'll know if we're Christ's disciples or how we love our neighbor. Exactly. So that's going to be number one. Two, they came to because of all the different hate crimes that they were being infiltrated with. If you were gay or homosexual in that time, they were getting executed just like African Americans were. So they were coming together to try and stop hate crimes. And then from there, it went from now that because I am this, now I'm considered a minority when we've taken the definition away from minority, which comes to color of your skin, ethnicity, your cultural background. So now that's been entangled with it, and excuse me, we don't know how to differentiate the two. Do I believe that it should be together? If they started the organization, they use it as Black Lives Matters, and if they're going against anything as far as with hate crimes, I'm with it. Because even though I don't agree with the lifestyle, I don't want to see you get executed anyway.
Right.
Because this is a choice that you did, and then God has given us a choice of free will. I'm not going to come up to you and say, "Oh man, you're going to hell because you're doing this, you're doing that." That's the last thing. First of all, I don't have a heaven or a hell to put you in. So no Christian could come up to anybody and say, "You're going to hell or you're going to heaven because of what you do." The last time I checked, the one that has the keys to the gates is Christ. Last time I checked. So we don't give that determination to anybody.
Right.
So if the organization is coming together and trying to promote hate crimes, you know, I'm all for it. The part where I don't really like with Black Lives Matters is because I think I said it earlier, is we're just repeating history of protesting, but we're not doing the part of history of getting in behind with the politics and trying to change policies. Until we get back to that part of where we're going to be educated about who we're voting for, how we're voting, because I think there was a time to where when you go into the voting sections, they segregate us as saying if you're a Democrat, you go here, you only can vote for your party. If you're Republican, you go here, you only can vote for their party. I think now they're having it where you can vote for anybody, which is great, and that needs to be the first institute for us to have change so that everybody can have a fair shake of who they need to choose.
Yeah.
And I'm just not with the whole thing of saying, "Oh man, we go out here and protest." Man, we could protest till we're blue in the face, but if we're not getting into legislation's ear, if we're not in here trying to change policies, it doesn't mean anything. When you look at the civil rights movement, you didn't have people just protesting or walking up the streets. They were in politicians' ears. They were in there trying to change laws that better benefit a race of people, not just African Americans, all minorities, because we have to go back and look again through history. It wasn't just African Americans that were being mistreated through racism.
Yeah, man. If you look at the history of the state that we're in right now, here in Texas, you know, there was a lot of Hispanics, there was a lot of Mexicans, there was a lot of Native Americans that were hung, you know, just like black folks were.
The truth is, the true founders of this country is Native Americans. We're all foreigners. You know, you have with the Asians, they came over here and helped build the railroads to connect it from the east to the west, but they were belittled. You have, you know, the Mexican community. I hate using the Mexican community, but you know, I think I'm saying impolitically correct, but please, you know, don't take that as the wrong way to be offended. But they've done a lot of things in this country that we don't want to do because we have too much pride.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's what I wanted to say about the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I think is again, it comes back to the educational piece. I can't say, I mean, you gotta do your research, gotta do your homework.
Yeah.
Just for me, I just did homework and saw this intricate point that isn't brought up through civil rights because again, we're not teaching it properly. I believe through our we're just not teaching properly. So that's my thing. I'm never going to say that I hate it. I'm just going to say I don't agree always with protesting. I mean, it could be blue lives matter, white lives matter, but if we're not doing something that's going to invoke the change, I'm just not about doing something just to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm walking a mile, man. Even when they want to do the health walks. I'm walking a mile for this, man. If I'm not doing anything to contribute to people getting better, if I'm not doing anything to contribute to my health, why do I need to wait once a year to walk a mile, 5 miles, saying I'm all pro for this, but then when I get done, I'm scarfing down a whole bunch of pieces, fried chicken, chocolate milk, pop, going good. What am I really doing for my health? You know what I'm saying? So that's my thoughts on that.
I appreciate it, man.
Let me share that, y'all.
Yeah, man. That's good. That's good stuff, man. I appreciate that. So without further ado, man, we're gonna get into this Nick Cannon situation. So listen, if and I don't know, maybe I'll say this from a place of privilege, but if you to the point to where you rocking with Nick Cannon, and for him to determine your thoughts and for him to determine your your doctrine or how you look at the world, then you in a sad place. Nick Cannon is like his statements, and yeah, he may have said it a long time ago, and it's being made public right now. He's I don't even want to say reverse racism. He's just doing racism. Like at some point, we have to learn not to just to call out our own people too when we wrong. We want the white community to understand us and try to understand our plight, but it's like, what are we going to be? We're acting as if we were in power, we would be no better than them or how they treated us. Like you can't. It's like, and Terry Crews said it. And I know Terry Crews then been canceled a couple weeks ago because he came out and he said stuff about Chicago shootings and all this other stuff. But he said we got to be careful that Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better, and that's true. We can't sit up on the hill and be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we the chosen people because we got melanin in our skin, and right. You people who have no melanin, you are closer to being animals than us, and all. Like, it's just foolishness. It's foolishness. It's counterintuitive to the movement, and it's because people like Louis Farrakhan and other people like that, them 5%ers, them the Nation of Islam people are swooping in, and people are inviting them to the church and stuff to speak. And it's like, listen, at the heart of that man is evil. It sounds good. It sounds as if he knows Christ, and he started off as a believer. But when you get to the nuts and bolts of what he believes that white folk are evil. He believes they are the devil. And when you look at their belief, they all believe that we're going to, that a spaceship, a UFO is going to come down one day and destroy all the white people. Like, that's really what they believe. Mm-hmm. And like, listen, we cannot get to where we don't like white supremacy. So why are we trying to do black supremacy all of a sudden? And why?
But hold on. But I don't think it's that though. I look at it as we've been beat down and talked down on for so long that these people have taken the mantle from our ancestors as far as trying to elevate us as a race and our thought process and these kids, and trying to make sure these kids know and understand that, hey, you're great too. I don't think it's we're better than you. It's you're great too.
But see, that's the problem. See, I think the great too is fine. We need to be esteemed, and we need to esteem our black brothers and sisters. We need to raise up our children and stuff. And I agree totally with that. Where I don't agree is when it goes to supremacy. And some people are really doing that. They're raising us up above people. And we shouldn't be raised up above people. We should be raised equally with people. You know what I'm saying? And that's when it becomes counterintuitive. It's not that we should matter just the same as someone else of another ethnicity. We shouldn't matter more than a person of another ethnicity. And we shouldn't have to push other people of other ethnicities and Caucasians down in order to make us feel better. Yes, we were treated wrong for so long, but there are people out there, brother, and y'all know what I'm talking about, who have said this since we were kids, have said white folk are the devil. Don't trust white folk are the devil. They're evil to the core. Like, this stuff ain't new. Like, I got uncles that used to push that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
but you got to understand the time that they grew up in.
Yeah.
So the time that they grew up in and their experiences are totally different from ours. So when they say that, I don't take it and run with it because that's not what I believe.
Yeah.
But if they had those experiences, like people who were there in the 50s and 60s and got treated like that, like, I can't sit back here and tell you can't think that because of the way you were treated. So I think at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff just boils down to your life experiences versus somebody else's life experiences. I talked about this the other night on my show, where people have a tendency to place their thoughts and their ideology on other people and expect them to act upon that. You can't do that. You can only apply what you have for your life experience and what you've been through in your life to certain situations, and you can talk from that vantage point. But you can't, expect other people to, what I'm saying, see the world through your eyes.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So I think Ken really hit the hammer on the nail. What he was, and you have too. And so basically, Jermaine, but the biggest thing what Ken was saying was, and what we do, the first thing is we're trying to force people to take what we believe and accept it. Like, you can't do that. And then two, it starts at home. Like, I would say this, man, like, while y'all were talking, I was just saying, I just told God, thank you for my mom, my stepmom, and my dad. They didn't raise me to be racist at all. But my grandmothers and my aunts, my mom, they've seen all kind of racism. I've been experiencing racism. And the craziest thing about it was, in my life, there were a lot of white people that poured into me to help me become a man that I am.
Mm.
And then there was just lacking some African Americans that didn't even do that to me, because there was that jealousy tension there. Because you know what? I got it, but I ain't gonna let you get it. So now, as
that crab mentality, it's that crab.
Yeah, I was about to say that. And then two, I think as a church, man, we say we talk about love, but we really don't know how to love. I'm gonna put it all the way real. As a church, we really do not know how to love other people outside of our own views or thought processes.
Yep.
And and again, we go through history, we go through the Crusades, we go through the Roman Catholic Church. You had and which again was part of the Roman Catholic Church reason why Muslims came about in the first place. Islam came about in the first place, because there was a thing called the Jesuits that went to the Middle East, but the Jesuits had a different intention of trying to bring people to the faith for political gain, not because they were trying to genuinely bring people to the faith. And it's just another feed of the cycle to where we're just trying to grab people to a church, or we just trying to grab people to an organization instead of genuinely trying to embetter people. I'm with the whole thing of just like this, man, genuinely make somebody better. Here's the thing that if you really getting genuinely taught. If your teacher teaches you to be better than them, and they're not jealous with it. Because I had a wise man tell me, man, he said, listen, my job as a teacher is to teach you to be better than me.
Okay.
And you know what where he got it from Christ. Christ says, greater things will you do. I'm doing this, but greater things will you do. So Christ is also putting us in the position to where we could do greater things, to be better than what he did on his 3 years of ministry, or of his whole life, 33 years. But we could do better. So until the teachers can genuinely pour into people and have them be better, whether that's mom, dad, teachers at school, grandparents, whoever it is, and genuinely loving on folks, man, we're going to continue to just keep hitting the wall. So like I say, like I said, with the, again, the LBG community, my thing is like this, because as Christians in our faith, you know what I mean? Don't force us to try and marry you because it goes against our faith, or we can't say something.
Right.
Like, that's the problem that I have. Because my thing is like this: you choose to do that, but don't come and bring it on me, because I have a standard that I'm trying to live for God, and I'm trying to live my life to be accountable to Him.
Yeah.
And now you want to force me to do this.
It's like it's not to cut you off, but it's like they're being hypocrites and bigots in their own.
Let me say this point, and then I'm done on it. Like, when we look at Muhammad Ali, who decided not to go to war in the Vietnam because of his faith, got scrutinized for them years, but then got loved back. Why is it that as anybody's religion or faith, why are you getting mad at me because of what I fully believe in my heart that is genuine to God? You telling me I can't do this. And I'm not killing nobody. I'm not talking bad about you. I ain't bad mouthing you. But why are you trying to force me to do something that I don't agree with? You know what it is. You know what it is, man. What it boils down to is the Jesus in us, man. It's a spiritual thing, man. But I'm gonna move on to D real quick. D, what you got to say?
with old
Man,
Nick.
y'all all made some good points, man. So we're still on the Nick Cannon subject, right?
Yeah.
Semantic comments or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that what I see is that what we're trying to do is I don't know, it's real hard when you try to just place labels on people, right? Based on your own pain and your own hurt or your experience with that, right? So the first thing, so it's, to me, it sounds like, well, he have empathy for the Black community and the oppression that we've been through, but instead of allowing that to work through and process that, he'll rather just attach that to another people group. You know what I mean? That same oppression to another people group, and then in doing that, himself becoming more in the pressure. So I don't know. It's kind of weird, man. In that standpoint, that I just think that we, like Brian said, we really got to learn how to love one another and bring empathy to these topics, because we can't know everyone's experience, nor should we. You know, just like if I go to the doctor and God forbid if I had a cancer or something, but the doctor studied cancer, but they don't have it, but they know how to empathize with me in order to treat me. You know what I mean? And I think that sometimes, like with these racial discussions and religious discussions and stuff like that, we're so dogmatic in our stance that we don't even invite other people to the table to even gain an understanding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, well, no, you know, I'm oppressed, you know, and I'm, you know, and all this has been done for me for all these years, and rightfully so. Like, we should be upset, we should be frustrated, but then also we can't take that and say, well, basically say what they're doing to us, basically saying because of our skin color we've been treated like this, and then put that on another people group. You know what I mean? Because your skin color, that you are this, you're this way. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I mean, that's really good. Go ahead, Brian. I want to get in. You got a comment I want to get into, but go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna piggyback on that, man. If we all really look at what Christ did, and we're all trying to say we're trying to be like Christ, Christ never forced himself on anybody. Never forced himself. What he did,
he just presented, this is what it is. It's
and you have a choice. But he did it in a way of love. Like the slogan here says, I could lead a horse to the water, but I can't make you drink. Why should, as like when I'm administering to people and you have a different view or thought process, I don't never bash your thought. Because how am I going to really win you if I just make you feel this small?
Yeah.
And here's the worst thing, that when you make somebody feel this small and you're a representative for God, now that person now may no longer be able to get to God because of something that you said.
Right.
Now it's just to the point, hey man, let's just have an open discussion and let's reason. Let's talk it out. Let's hash it out. You know what I mean? And I think, man, and D was just hitting on it, man, is y'all, if we really be like Christ, man, and really love on folks and not force it, man, then people can generally come to God. They can generally find love.
Yeah, D, look at D. You know what I'm saying? That's a perfect example. But yeah, that's a good point, man. I want to get into a comment real quick. Someone alluded to comment. Ellis Ray Witcher says there are a lot of prejudiced Black people. The light skin didn't like the darker skin. Or y'all can read, you know what I'm saying? So basically what he's alluding to is he's saying prejudice, but in actuality, man, that's colorism all day. That's colorism all day. We have that.
Hey, so I was gonna say, I know him, so shout out to Ray. He went to my church, so I'm gonna shout out to him.
Okay.
Man, so
okay. Okay, so that's what's up. Yeah, so he's talking about colorism, and you know, colorism is a huge issue. We didn't even talk about this, but colorism is I didn't have this down, but hey, he want to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Colorism is a huge issue. Now, here I want to share this because I told Nikki before we moved back down south, we were in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? She's born and raised Columbus, Ohio. We moved back down south. I'm from Oklahoma. You know, 20 minutes from that. Yeah. 20 minutes from that. 20 minutes from Texas. You know, Lawton, Oklahoma. Now we're here in Dallas, Texas. 3 hours from my hometown. Boom. Okay, I told her, I said, listen, girl, look, chick, when we move back down south, I'm gonna tell you this: you light skin, and you're going to experience some colorism down there. And she was like, okay, but she was saying okay because she never experienced that up in Ohio. And so when we moved back down south, I'm gonna tell you this: she had a lot of people, some people who would look at her certain ways with attitudes, and they were of darker skin, and they kind of looked at her with attitudes like she thought she was better than. And it's like, I told you, I said, look, I told you this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to your world. Exactly, bro. That's what I'm talking about. They are, listen, we say we have these little idiosyncrasies. We say, oh, you acting light-skinned as heck. What? Dang, why they gotta be such a bad thing? Like, you know, we love to put down our own, and it all started from Willie Lynch back in slavery. Separate the slaves by their shade color, and they will learn to hate each other. And that's exactly what we're doing. We look at cats like, you know, we be like, oh, you know, they don't know what it's like to struggle because they lighter skin, this, that, and the other. But I told Nikki when we moved back down here, we even had people within the church that we joined. They thought Nikki was a white girl. They said, oh, well, who's that preacher that walked in here with a white woman? and first of all, Nikki was appalled because if anybody know Nikki J, Nikki is a show enough sister. Nikki is a show enough sister. All right, she ain't halfway sister. She's show enough black. All right.
I don't know, man, but she ain't seen some of these black movies, man. So yeah.
Okay, well, listen, that's neither. Listen, man, listen. That's neither here nor there.
They trying to keep it a car. Okay. I'm just joking. I had it. Wait, we had to have a joke, man. That's so serious, bro.
At the end of the day, colorism is a horrible thing. And you know, and your wife just says, oh, hold on, whoa, I showed the wrong thing. My bad. Here it is. Yeah, so your wife just chimed in, Brian. Nikki B just said colorism is bad in Texas. Yeah, in the South, this is what it is, man. It's really horrible. And the reason why it's more prevalent in the South is because, you know, this is where slavery occurred, and the animosity grew and grew and grew and grew, and it's still going on today. Ken, go ahead and talk to us. What's up?
Nah, that's what I was saying earlier about a person's life experiences. You know, if you come from a different part of the country and you start talking to somebody who's from New York versus somebody who's from, you know, from Dallas, Texas, their life experiences and their upbringing is totally different, right? So when you have people that come from the East Coast and they're just like, wow, I can't believe, you know what I'm saying, the color difference, because in New York, like, everything is like mixed.
Yeah.
Everything is mixed. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's a big melting pot, as they call it. Like in Dallas, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? It's becoming more like that as time goes on. But growing up, I mean, hey, you know, I had to have that conversation with my kids about, you know what I'm saying, being called the N-word and not as a term of endearment. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people that haven't had to deal with that. But when you had to deal with that firsthand, and, you know, growing up, you have it coming from, you know, people who are not black, and you have black people who look at you as being light skinned, and they say you're not black either. So you have this thing of, okay, so where do I fit in? If my own people are saying I'm too light, and the other races are saying you don't belong to us, so where do I belong? And that's why it's important as parents that you instill these things in your kids, so when they go out into the world, none of the stuff that the world is saying is going to matter, because you've already put everything in them at home.
Right.
No, that's real, man.
Yeah,
it's up north too. I got it in Ohio. I'm light as can be, man. So
hey, so I would say with Nicole K, like, they say that stuff about me too, and they said about my mom, but my mom, man, she just ingrained in me that when you're handling business, know how to be professional and be proper. So there's times where I would talk proper, and then when I went to college, I write how I talk. So when I was talking like I'm talking with my boys, I write, get in trouble, but then they taught me how to write, so I would talk proper. And if I'm on the phone, people be like, "Yo," they be like, "Oh, okay, he's white." So it's I can tell the conversation go a little bit different. And then when I get to them face to face, like if I'm selling a roof or something to them, they seem like, or even you, oh, man, I thought you were white. I didn't know you were black. And here's the funniest thing, like this is a true story, don't lie. I was in Columbus, Ohio, and I was area field manager for U-Haul. And this one guy, he was African American, said that one of the dealers was a white guy. He was racist. He called him a racist. He said, man, he ain't helping me because he don't like black people. He hate black people. He's racist, man. You know, he's just doing this because I'm black. And I had to check him. I said, wait, hold it, man. First of all, I'm black. He's never had a problem with me. And here's the crazy thing about it, dude, that you don't know about him. He has an African-American daughter-in-law. So how is he being racist? The issue is you just didn't follow your contract. So let's just put that on the table. And the one thing I hate sometimes what we do as African-Americans, we always want to pull that black card. Like, bro, cut it. If you wrong, you wrong. My daddy taught me, if you wrong, tell the truth, admit it, deal with it, move on. You know what I mean? And I'm going to say this too, like coming down south, I had a real big cultural shock to where we're talking about this colorism. I would say it's racism in the race. Because I just remember going to SMU, and King, you know about this, where I was trying to be a professor there, and I had just did what God told me just to walk up on there, and next thing you know, I'm up there having an interview next to the person that's in charge of the dean of that department for an interview to become a professor, and all I had was a master's degree. What was so crazy was the white people, the Indians, the Asians, they all welcomed me. And then when I come between my people, my colors, and I'm just trying to say hi, just saying hi, hello. We in the South, everybody's supposed to speak. Hello. You have a turned up face to me. Mm-hmm. I had an older lady, which it killed me. How are you about 67 years old, but you trying to rock a young girl's hairstyle? No, you don't have to cut the hair bob and then the braids with the old gray hair and then trying to put the mohawk in here. And then you're going to tell me, oh, you don't have no hopes or no future here. First of all, now I'm going to say this. First of all, my mom and my daddy told me, you don't judge me and you don't tell me what I can or can't do. Whatever I put my mind to do, I'll do it. The one thing I'll say like this, she better be glad I is to say, you know what? I'm about to show you. I'm about to be a professor and I'm going to have your job because I'll do it. But anyways, here and there, I got kind of into that, so I'm going to move away from that though. But I'm just saying, like, it's sad that we do have inside our own racism, this division. But
colorism is huge, man. It's just,
but it goes back to what Ken said. We trying to force stuff on people because this is where we go. Get out and see the world, man. You'll see that it ain't like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's good. I'm really glad they brought up the whole colorism thing, man. You know, that's why me and Nikki, we got shirts that say flexing in my complexion. She wears the shirt and I wear the shirt too, because here's the thing, regardless of what complexion you are, man, just be proud of your complexion regardless. And like, you know, and some people may feel away if you light skin wearing that shirt. Oh, well, no, it ain't that. It's just, listen, I love the skin I'm in, period. I'm not going
I'm comfortable with who I am.
I'm not going to hate my skin because I'm light skinned. So what? That's how God created me. Let me just go ahead and flex in that. You dark skin, flex in that, you know, because listen, all four of us brothers, it's different shades on this live. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we all black. And we love the skin we in. Exactly. There you go. And we all black and we love each other and we love the skin we in, man. And you know, we got to stop crippling our own race, our own ethnicity with this whole back and forth with, well, you was a house and you was a porch and you was a backwoods and you was an outhouse. I mean, listen, we got to kill that narrative and just love people for who they are. You know.
So I would say for us, it goes back to what you're talking about, that Johnny Lynch mentality. As an African,
Willie Lynch,
Willie Lynch. My bad. I'm not for John Lynch, a football player. But you know, the sad thing is we haven't even elevated our minds to get out of the mindset of slavery. And until we realize that we're free here, we always gonna be a slave.
Yeah.
So you know that you free here. This mind, you're always gonna be a slave. You're gonna be stuck. And then you ain't gonna be able to receive the help to take people out.
This is exactly why I said Jesus said, "Let this mind." No, sorry. This is why the Word of God says, "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus."
That's Jesus, yeah.
So yeah. So okay, Nikki commented real quick. I'm gonna get on here, then we're gonna get to the last thing and get off her. I knew this was gonna get long, but if whoever's rocking with us, thank y'all very much. We appreciate it. So she says, "You have me a different." It gave me a different lens perspective on. If I'm dodging the read, is because I can't. Yeah, got this camera. Gave me a different lens of perspective on how some struggle with knowing where they fit in. I personally never experienced that part. It is important to know who you are in Christ. That will help you with being, secure with where you fit in and being comfortable in the skin He gave you. The beautiful thing is that God is an artist, and amen, He is an artist. He made us all different. It would be so boring if we all acted and looked the same. That's what it is. It'd be so boring if we, so that's true, man. So, yo, King, I'm gonna give you shots on this. Like I said, you said you go through it, this walk in your world, and you've been dealing with this since birth. So, you got anything else to say before we move on?
No, I mean, like, as far as, now that, I'm an adult, I don't deal with it like that, you know what I'm saying? Or, people don't approach me with it. People crack jokes in there. So, we all kind of do that in jest, but, growing up, it was just that thing of, I knew who I was and my parents instilled that in me. But when you get to school and you hear it all day, every day, it does affect you as a child, you know what I'm saying, to not feel like you're a part of, you know what I'm saying, who you're supposed to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And and I want to say, listen, bro, I never did this, but I want to apologize, man.
I love the third grade,
yeah. Hold on. Also, by accident, I lived in New Jersey, moved to Ohio, and our education level was higher. The other students didn't like me because of what they were learning. Again, third grade, they thought I was better than. Oh, yeah. That's the thing. And so I want to talk about that too. But I forget what I was just about to say. I do want to apologize just for that's horrible, man. Like having to go through that your whole life with that. That's stupid. Like, I guess I'm coming from a place to where, I guess I'm privileged because I grew up around different shades of black folk. I grew up around Latinos, and Latinos, I don't mean Hispanics like from Mexico. I'm talking about from Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So color and shade, and I've always been used to that, and I never looked at light-skinned folk as anything different. I always looked at them as black. I never treated them any differently. I never looked at them like, oh, they think they're better than. I've never been that way. Now I know there's some people who do, but bro, I ain't one of them, man. So I'm sorry about that, but it's by the grace of God you are who you are today, King. You know what I'm saying? You too.
I'm good.
Yeah, you too. You too, D. You too. By the grace of God.
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
So speaking proper thing, because that seems to be a hot topic everybody's talking about. Okay, hold on. Nikki, she hold on, my battery. Let me see if this will work. Hold on, real quick.
You just want black on us.
Yeah, because I gotta switch out this battery. All right. So yeah, see, that's that whole. I don't know. Hold on.
Thank you.
For 2 seconds.
Yeah. My whole. I don't know what that is, but let me see. Hold up. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you. We just can't see you.
Yeah, that's my whole camera just went out. We've been talking, Brian talked too long. That's what it was, man.
Okay. Blame it on the dark skin guy, right? With the COVID.
There we go. Brian talked too long. So
man, look, I mean, we've been serious, man. We still got to crack some jokes in here, man. I don't want, we don't want it to be so heavy.
No, we good. We good. You know what I mean? So. We good, cuz we fine. Nah, I got the whole 2-screen thing going. I don't know what that is.
Top and bottom, huh?
I don't know what that is.
Get that edge up, crispy boy.
Yeah. Something like that. I don't know what this is. Okay, but anyways, but yeah. So
your man having them Teddy Riley difficulties.
I'm having something, man. I don't know what's going on. But listen, y'all, I want to say this. You know, as black folk, and I tell Nikki this all the time. See, the thing with Nikki is, I don't know. The thing with Nikki is, well, black folks in general, we've always had that duality we've had to deal with, right? Like we talk black enough around the black folk, and then proper enough around white folk, and that's something that we have lived with forever. And that's something that we do. And I tell Nikki this: I know how to cut it on when I want to, when I need to, right?
Well, I think the term for it is code switching. They call it code switching.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a code now for it. So all right, I just learned something today.
No, that's what they've been calling. They call it code switching. They've been calling it that from my understanding, since back in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, okay.
It's called code switching. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's what's up, man. That's exactly what it is. Code switching. So black folk have been doing, and that's another thing that we talk about with, you know, white privilege and black people. They don't understand what it means to have to switch up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We have had to live that way our whole lives, and we know how to do it. Now, the thing with Nikki is, my wife, she don't switch up. She just talk proper everywhere she go. Okay, because that is who she is. But see, people get it twisted, and they start thinking that, oh, well, you know, she talks proper. Is she, you know, she better than all? No, that's just how she talks. She grew up north. She grew, you know, went to a Catholic school for elementary school and all that other stuff. And that's how she talks. But you know what? That's why we're together. You know, I bring the flavor. You know what I'm saying? And, you know,
now he's Craig Mack. Now he's
right.
Say what?
You know
what I'm saying? Yeah, I bring the I bring the I bring the flavor. You know what I'm saying? And we balance each other out. You know, and it's a beautiful marriage. I love that. I love that about marriage. That's exactly why one of the reasons why God instituted marriage. You know what I'm saying? It's a great thing. So, but yeah, any of y'all got anything? I know, Brian, you already said something on it, but you know, in general, that's something that we deal with, man. You know, with code switching, it's just one of the things that we have to do is, you know, just one of the things we kind of morphed into doing to survive in society. You know what I mean?
Man, I'll say it like this, man. You know what? If you don't, I look at it as a level of respect. I think everybody code switches in a way. I don't care who you is, because it's one way that you talk at work. It's another way that you talk when you get home. I don't care who you is. Everybody code switching.
Yeah, here's the thing I'll say with that, Brian. I'll say that to this. There are people who may code switch, but it's not detrimental for them to code switch or not code switch.
Bro,
when you talk with code switching with African Americans, it's detrimental that they need to code switch because it's part of survival. Other people may do it; it's not part of their survival. But when African Americans code switch, trust and believe. That depends on whether or not you get the job or not get the job. Did you black woman? Did you straighten your hair out for the job interview, or did you not straighten your hair out? Those things are what we talking about right there. That's what we talking about with the privilege. That's what we talking about with the code switching. You may not want to straighten out your hair, but guess what? There's a lot of people, there's a lot of sisters that straighten out their hair for that job interview. Go ahead.
Hey, man.
Why you got two hands? Why you got two hands?
Because I'm like this. Politicians code switch all day. Because if you want to be all the way real with you, if you white and you part of Ku Klux Klan, you ain't coming out talking about coon nigga and all this stuff when you out here doing your politician thing. You're going to use other codes. But when you get behind closed doors, you got all kinds of racist.
We're talking about code switching based on ethnicity.
I'm saying everybody code switch to me. So I guess I'm just used to. I think everybody just talk different when they get in certain arenas, man. So I mean, maybe I
get what Jermaine is saying though, because
it's not the same.
If you go over here to the projects and talking to somebody in the projects, you have to have a certain type of lingo, or they're gonna run you up out of there.
I get y'all. I got what you're saying.
So if you take that same conversation to a public, to a professional arena, you're gonna have problems. They're gonna look at you crazy, and they're gonna ball your application up and shoot it in the garbage as soon as you walk out.
So to ask this, what if a white person talk ghetto and they been like that in the whole time, and then it's going to be different for them?
And it sometimes that don't play out well.
But I'm just saying, they go through a job talking like that, they ain't gonna get hired too.
They're gonna have the same issue.
Okay, that's what I was just trying to figure out too. Like, that's how I was I just had a different viewpoint on it. That's all.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So, anyways, man, we about to wrap up. But listen, and this is no surprise to y'all. My faith ranks number one. This list of 6 different topics, my faith ranks as number one. And the reason why it does, goes without saying, we all Christians on here, it doesn't matter. All those other things are irrelevant when it comes to salvation. What's most important to me is my salvation, period. Listen, I could be black rotting in hell. I could be white rotting in hell. So at the end of the day, skin doesn't have to be a certain color to burn forever. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, my salvation is it's cool. It's the most important thing. I think that goes without saying for all of us. The discouraging thing I saw, and this is why I think the Nick Cannon comments are kind of damaging, is because I had brothers come on my actual video on YouTube. Y'all check it out on That Christian Fam. That you see in the comment, or you see in the title right there, That Christian Fam. That is our YouTube channel with me, my wife, Nikki, and our children. But anyways, That Christian Fam is where you can find the video, and I talk about where do you stand. And I had a brother go on there and say, hey, listen, great video, but I disagree with you. I think black has to be more important than anything. And this is a brother who I wouldn't even call him brother because he ain't saved. But he said that black goes above everything. And I said, hey, we're gonna have to agree to disagree intelligently, because here's the thing. Like I just told y'all, it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are at the end of the day if you're rotting in hell forever. It doesn't matter. Like, my faith is everything to me. Like, you can sit up here and talk about black power, all this, that, and the other. But if at the end of the day, see, here's the thing. If I had a rope that was 30 feet long and this much of the rope was colored red.
You talking about ropes? Are you really?
No, hold on. I know. Listen.
I think you need to throw that analogy in the trash.
Right. Bro, you came in with a loose stuff.
So listen. I know we talking about rope, but get kind of nervous too. But listen, if I had a 30-foot long rope and I had this much of it colored red, let's say, for instance, that represented my life here on earth, but the rest of the rope represented my life in eternity. Well, what's more important? I guess my life in eternity is going to be the most important. You know what I'm saying? But we get stuck on the little red part right here thinking, oh, I was black for this long, I was white for this long, and this is what matters. No, what matters is what are you going to do about eternity? So this is why I say faith is most important. Jesus is the one that snatched me out of darkness and into the marvelous light. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. My blackness doesn't do that. My ethnicity does not do that. My gender does not do that. My politics, if I was in a fraternity, none of that would do that for me. Jesus Christ, the blood of Jesus, pays for the remission of my sin, and that's why I say my faith is the most important thing, because without that solid rock of Christ, nothing else can stand. So,
well, I think a lot of people make that comment too, like you were talking about, because their mind can't fathom an afterlife. Like, everything that they're focused on is
there you go. You know
what I'm saying? So if you're talking to somebody and that's their thought process, a lot of times the dudes I've talked to that said that's their thought process, and they don't believe in the afterlife, so they don't think that salvation or any of that stuff is important, because everything is focused on what they do here on earth. So, I mean, I think that's the mindset of a lot of people when they say stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree. D, you got something to say?
Without faith, man, it's impossible to please God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if all the stuff on the list, if you look at it, man, all those things are based on the pleasures of man, you know, for pleasing someone else other than God. And so that's why faith is the bedrock, is the foundation of who we are, because we know that we got a hope that's outside of what we can experience, obtain in this earth.
Yeah, I agree. Brian, you got anything to say?
I'm gonna say faith's gonna be number one for me, and I even take it up a notch with it. When even talking with people from different backgrounds, whether atheists, agnostic, different denominations, religions, and even speaking with them and talking with them, like some stuff, yeah, you could say from an intellectual standpoint doesn't make sense. But I just think about that day when I was on on that hospital bed when I got in that car accident, and I just think about Christ calling His name out for me,
right,
and saying, "Nah, you my son." And there's no way that anybody could ever have me turn away from God, because I just think about the way my life was, and literally, I was on that bed getting ready to go to hell. I saw that demon ready to take me. And to know that Christ intervened, bro, this like all the intellectual stuff, I don't care what you say, and my heart is always gonna be Christ. And I just thank God for what He did on that cross, of when He had everybody in mind on the world that was going to choose to believe in Him. And when we think about all these different sacrifices that they did with all those different lambs and all those different goats, and you just take one lamb, Christ being the one lamb, that His one drop of blood was able to forgive everybody's sins. And then the Bible also talks about love hides a multitude of sins. So the fact that He loves me enough, even in mistakes, when the world goes against me, or when they turn their backs on me, because I've seen it, God was always there to say, you know what, B, I still love you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's number one.
Yeah. So I don't know. We got a mad face. I don't know who mad. Somebody mad. So we got an angry face on there. I don't know where it's come from.
Where it come on?
it just popped up. I don't know.
Oh, so somebody must be mad that I don't know. Shoot, I don't care.
I don't know.
Maybe it was a mistake.
Say what?
I said maybe it was a mistake.
Yeah, maybe it was a mistake. Who knows, man? But listen, y'all, this has been really dope, man. You know, we can hang out forever, but I know we got lives to get back to. And you know, thank you everybody who's been rocking with us this whole time. We really do appreciate it. You know, this is very good dialogue, man. We got to do this again.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely.
You know, sometime soon. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. You know, I think this is very healthy dialogue. You know, so yeah, this is an hour 47 minutes we talking about right now, but you know, I think it was well worth it. I think that there was some good dialogue, like I said, and I think there was some healthy banter back and forth or whatever that made us kind of reshape some of the ways that we may think about some of these categories we talked about. You know what I'm saying? But all of this stems from this video I posted on Tuesday. Where do you stand? You know, why I'm Christian first. Y'all can check it out on That Christian Fam YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit that. Go ahead, run over to YouTube now. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bells because we drop notification bell because we drop videos every Tuesday and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So again, y'all, thank y'all. Y'all got any parting words or anything before we get up off here? Real brief words, Brian.
Yeah, I was gonna say, whatever, dude. I was gonna say thanks for the invite, bro.
No problem, man. Much love, bro.
And everybody that joined too. So, love y'all.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for the invite. Good convo. Hopefully, next time we can have less topics so we can get more in depth in the conversation on it. But
okay, yeah, that's good feedback. That's what's up.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody, man. It's been good. It's been good talking with you fellas, man. Hopefully we can definitely do this again, man. Picked up a lot of good info today as well. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, amen, man. That was good. It was very healthy. Loved it. So again, thank y'all for everything, man. And I'll catch up with y'all. Y'all take care. This is Jermaine from That Christian Fam, aka the King's Realm, where we shape our worldview around God's reality. We out.
Peace.